Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. How are you feeling after yesterday's result? I know we drew with Newcastle, but the Newcastle draw almost felt like a victory. But yesterday, it is not about dropping points because it's so early in the season, right? And people are somewhat, with Haaland scoring two hat-tricks in a row in the previous two matches, people are somewhat like they expect Haaland to score at least two goals every match, and they think that now with Haaland and De Bruyne, their City can pretty much go on and win all of the matches in front of them and things like that. That's a very unrealistic feeling, and it's sort of in the press conference before the match as well. Pep already mentioned something interesting. He said that he would like to play a team in the good moment than a team in the bad moments because that bad streak has to end at some point, and when a team is in the bad moment, they're almost fighting for their lives. They're almost fighting against everything. They have their backs to the wall. It can sometimes become difficult to play such a team, and Pep was right. Pep was actually right. But the reason why we lost that game was not because Aston Villa were superb and they were a Jose Mourinho like 2.0 team who just defended for their lives and things like that. No, Aston Villa I thought in the first half were abysmal. Aston Villa in the first half were, they didn't have that belief until that Leon Bailey goal went in the second half. So in the first half there was no belief at all. In the second half, until that Leon Bailey goal went in. It just seemed that Aston Villa were sitting ducks and they were waiting for City to score the second and finish them off, which excuse me, which we actually didn't. So actually, seeing that Villa game, I think it highlights a major problem. I think the tactical structure and the shape somehow seem to be missing. I was just after that Villa draw. I obviously felt bad, but I was just sort of thinking about all of the games from the start of the season till now. West Ham were in a bad moment and we defeated them. That's fine. Bournemouth. Everybody sort of gets to defeat them by a huge goal margin. So just discounting both of those games out. But you look at the common themes. Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Aston Villa. There's a common thread, running in these three games. The first thing is the narrowness in our shape. For example, yesterday, if you see, Bernardo Silva is playing on the right wing, right? And it somehow seemed to affect the balance of the game. I know Bernardo was responsible for getting us back in the Crystal Palace thing and stuff. I'll come back to that. But with Bernardo Silva playing out wide, Foden playing out wide, so suddenly your Bernardo Silva and your Phil Foden both are cutting inside, and Gundogan operates through the middle, which means that and you add to that both of our fullbacks are also inverting. Suddenly, where is the width? Who is the width provider there? So suddenly you have a Kevin De Bruyne overlapping with Bernardo Silva and providing width. Now that is not a bad thing. Kevin De Bruyne is the best cam in the world right now. You look at the cross he delivered for Erling Haaland. It's out of this world. Fantastic cross with the dip and all. But do you really want Kevin De Bruyne to occupy those wide spaces? Because when De Bruyne is occupying those wide spaces, yes, he can deliver those outrageous crosses and stuff like that. He can just do magic from nothing. But for me, it limits the spaces that Kevin De Bruyne can travel. It makes defending that much easier for the opposition team. See, when De Bruyne is in the middle, it's almost like he can go both ways. He almost has a free role, which means that it's that much harder. It's that much unpredictable. But when you're when as an opposition team, you're pushing De Bruyne to one side, it becomes that much easier, right? And that is what exactly happened yesterday. It sort of happened a bit against Newcastle, but then you see what changed against Newcastle. Pep in the second half, especially Pep put De Bruyne through the middle against Newcastle predominantly, and De Bruyne changed the game. We couldn't do it yesterday, so I do think that playing this Gundogan, Bernardo, and De Bruyne in the same team is affecting our balance. We are not looking defensively solid as well. See it not just De Bruyne, it is limiting the capacity of a Bernardo Silva as well because Bernardo Silva playing in the center of that midfield. I'm very, very confident that he would have tracked back and he would have done a better job on Leon Bailey. What I'm observing in the last few matches, especially these three matches, the Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and yesterday, there's somehow a spare man who's ending up at the box for the opposition. Just remember this against Newcastle. Callum Wilson was the spare man there. Almiron running, Maxim running, Joelinton from the midfield, and Wilson found himself as the spare man and he scored Newcastle's second goal. Against Crystal Palace, Ise had almost that chance. He fluffed it over. He was the spare man there. So why is the spare man being there? Now the thing is, when Bernardo Silva is playing in the midfield, he tracks back very well. Gundogan's major duties here are almost following Haaland. So suddenly you're finding yourself a man short in the midfield. I know Pep is trying to compensate it with Cancelo, Kyle Walker and stuff, and it's just not working. So literally this system, it's playing Bernardo on the right wing is limiting what Bernardo can do best, which is in the center of midfield for me, and limiting what Duprana can do best by tossing him into a corner. You're yourself doing it, and the opposition is very happy doing it. And we don't have any options out wide as well. That Forest game for me showed how we should exactly play. In the Forest game, we were playing a normal system, right? None of this overlap, inverted fullback shit. Okay, I'm happy with one fullback inverting and the other fullback going wide, overlapping. That is I mean, yesterday Kyle Walker's run actually showed you how important an overlapping fullback sometimes is, just to mix it up, just to make it unpredictable. Villa yesterday prepared for that inverted fullback system. Villa yesterday were drilled the entire week almost. I mean, the entire 3 4 days for that inverted fullback system. And when Walker overlapped, they almost seemed stunned that he did that. I mean, okay, I'm frustrated that Kyle Walker didn't pass to Erling Haaland in the first 5 10 minutes, where Haaland would have had a tap in and it was a completely different game after that. But my frustration is also that Kyle Walker didn't try it again. Cancelo didn't try it again. That's another frustrating thing for me. This vertical system of Pep is limiting the best abilities of at least 3 to 4 players in this. And then other important factor is that I think even you guys would have noticed it. And other important thing is that we are somehow just making it all about Erling Haaland in terms of providing service. Yesterday there were at least 2 3 instances where once Gundogan was in a much better position and Haaland was surrounded by 2 3 players. Not Haaland's mistake, but we choose to find Haaland and not Gundogan. Phil Foden was in all sorts of space, and we choose to find, and Gundogan choose to find Haaland and not Phil Foden. See, Haaland's game is not just scoring goals. Haaland's game is also dragging defenders away with this movement that creates your space, that creates spaces for your Kevin De Bruyne, for your Phil Foden, and all of those sort of people. So I also thought that we were a bit of overdoing it, with just making it all about Haaland. And honestly, Haaland on another day would got us out of jail, but that is not the point. It's not about those 2 drop points yesterday. We have had much worse starts to the season. We have been in ninth place, for example, in 2020 by November, December, and still we went on to win the league. It's not about the 2 drop points, but it's about the kind of system. It's about the tactical shapes, the combinations, and things like that. And Rodri was under pressure yesterday, and it again stunned me why they were man marking Rodri with at least 2 players, and Stones was continuously passing to Rodri. Okay, I can understand maybe there are no more options to put the ball ahead, but to pass it to anyone. But the thing is, why didn't Pep bring in Bernardo Silva alongside Rodri? See, our best style of play in the last 2 3 years is revolved around Bernardo Silva being alongside Rodri. Bernardo Silva operating in that box to box midfield role, right? It allowed your De Bruyne to go forward much more. I mean, it made Rodri also secure in a way because Bernardo Silva was dealing with the press. Bernardo Silva was carrying the ball under pressure. A ball carrier is what Bernardo Silva is. That is his best ability. You don't get better ball carriers than Bernardo Silva at the world. I mean, in this moment, he is the best ball carrier in the world right now, Bernardo Silva, and you're suddenly sticking up him up on the right wing, telling him to dribble and stuff like that. I just cannot understand this. So Pep is getting some of his selections wrong, some of the tactics are wrong. I mean, the players were sloppy with their passing, but for me, it somehow seemed from the off that the shape itself is wrong. At Crystal Palace, it seemed like that for some time. Against Newcastle, after getting the first goal for periods, it seemed that we're not getting much purchase out of our shape. Against Forest, the shape looked very good with Julian Alvarez playing out wide. I mean, coming to Julian Alvarez, I'm surprised that this guy who has scored two goals, two banging finishes, and you don't even give him a substitute appearance. It just stunned me because Julian Alvarez out wide and Bernardo Silva in the midfield and hooking Gundogan off would have just solved the issues straight away there and we would have won that game. Even at 1-1 with Julian Alvarez coming on for the last 10 minutes, I have no doubt that we would have won that game. Just because it would have created more space for Erling Haaland. Alvarez twitching. Alvarez has that great shot from outside the box. So I do think the combination of our wingers should be. I think Riyad Mahrez was the wrong sub yesterday. Hands down, Pep will have to accept that Riyad Mahrez was the wrong sub yesterday because again he was giving almost the same thing as a Bernardo Silva. For me, it has to be Foden, Alvarez, Grealish, Foden on the right, for example, and Foden maintaining width. Your one winger has to maintain width if the other winger is actually going in. So I don't understand this why our wingers are cutting in. Because you play Gundogan in the midfield, I don't have problem with that. But then tell Foden to stay wide, tell your wingers to stay wide. That will give Kevin De Bruyne space to run into, Phil Foden space to run into. You're not doing that as well. So there are definitely problems for me in terms of defensive shape and all. I would not blame our defense overly. Stones, Diaz, maybe Cancelo could have done better with that Leon Bailey thing, but again, defensively, we were Riyad Mahrez didn't track back. It's almost there are a few elements that have repeated from that Newcastle and Crystal Palace game. And Pep always says this: we defend from the front and attack from the back. The basic principle that we have not followed, and we conceded the goal. I mean, if you look at the XG, Villa had an XG of zero point 0.2 and we had an XG of 1.8, which is almost close to 2. So we should have won that game 2-0 on the fair balance of play. But football, it rarely works out on the fair balance of play, right? So, I mean, you can talk about clinicalness and everything, but the fundamental problem there is the tactical shape and structure. This is on Pep. This is on Pep. Pep has been brave in terms of bringing in those sweeping tactical changes to accommodate Haaland. And some of Haaland's goals and the way we have been winning matches, it has eclipsed, where we are as a team in this position. Yes, we are the champions and all. I do agree with that, but we are actually struggling. I mean, I'm not just struggling, but we are getting to grips with the new tactics. We are either underdoing service to Haaland or overdoing service to Haaland sometimes. There is still a lot to learn, a long way to go in terms of adapting to this new system of Pep. But I'm not happy with this lack of width and inverting everyone. So that is something Pep needs to look into for me. I know that this is still early in the season. I was reading on social media and stuff like that. A few fans were going bonkers and they were telling, "You're already so much behind Arsenal and stuff like that." This team was behind Liverpool 7 points in 2019 January the 2nd against that great Liverpool team. This Arsenal team is nothing compared to that team, and yet we clawed back a gap of 7 points from January against that great Liverpool team in 2018-19 season. So we are not afraid of these gaps and someone having a runaway lead at the at the very start of the campaign and things like that. Pep knows this is a marathon and peaking at the right time. There are many elements to it. You watch a marathon and you have some people who just pick up the pace and very early and they're just it seems that they're uncatchable right in the first 2-3 laps, but then this team comes off, their wheels come off because they put effort right in the right at the beginning. So it's important, especially in a league campaign. I mean, we have done it in 4 5 in the last 4 5 6 seasons, but in a league campaign, I do believe it's especially important to peak at the right moments, not just overcome it early on, which I think Arsenal are doing. So Pep knows all that. Pep knows that this is a marathon, but Pep is still working on the system. And the schedule also offers no respite. We go to Sevilla, which I think will be a very difficult game. Spurs, a difficult game. Then we have Wolves, I think. Never easy to play Wolves. We have Southampton, sort of being our bogey team. Then we play Man United. Then I think we play Arsenal. So the games are just now coming on thick and fast. So Pep really needs to have conviction in what strategy is going to use actually. For me, width will be paramount, width will be very interesting, and I'm happy that Nathan Ake is also back. So guys, there's no need to worry at all. There's no need to panic. There are elements which Pep is, innovating with. That is why Pep is a great manager. It could have been very easy for Pep to just put out a 4-3-3 and no tactic, just play overlap the fullbacks. Just, I mean, the normal, you just play the normal system and City win most of their games. But Pep is not like that. He always likes to innovate and take his game to the next level. So, as City fans, we must respect that. We must give Pep some time to adapt to these tactics. And honestly, we have not had a back start to the season with Haaland settling in faster than people are thinking. Okay, the system's not working as fluidly. It showed yesterday, but again, it showed that people are understanding each other with the sloppy 3-4 yard passes. People would tell complacency, but for me, it's almost a not having a lack of not having an understanding of the new system. When you have an understanding of the system, you almost make those passes without looking, because you trust that the other player is there, and that is what we are learning in this system. So a long way to go in this league campaign. World Cup is also there. There'll be a lot of twists and turns, and I don't agree with many people who say that just give Arsenal the title or Spurs are ahead of you, United are coming for you. I don't agree with all of that. It's a marathon, and the experienced runners will know that they might be last in the first, second, third, even the fourth lap of marathon. But when the time comes to puzzle through in the very last laps, these people put on so much of speed that it's impossible to catch them. I'm talking about both Liverpool and City here. Both of us, we have that. We know what it takes to win the league. We know what it takes to go head to head in those campaigns. We have the experience. So for me, the marathon is just starting. The early runners might be delighted now, but as experienced heads, we should know that you could be slow in picking up, but what matters is who picks up the greatest team at the end when it comes to the finish line. So no need to be worried. It's just a little bit of tactical tweaks, and we'll be again ready to go against Sevilla. If you like the video, please do click on the like button and also the bell icon, and do click on the subscribe button so that you get notifications whenever we come up with new videos. We do watch alongs for every match, and then we have good discussions on this channel as well. So do click on the subscribe button and join us. Also, we bring about new blog posts every day related to City. So it's the link for the blog is given in the description below. So do check out the blog. The articles are very insightful, and do join in the conversation there as well and state your opinion. So see you all again and take care.